Hey Canucks fans, it's your favorite topic and mine. Let's talk about contract updates for Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson. I'm Canuck Clay. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club. This is my Canucks take all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Wednesday, September the 8th. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. It is Wednesday night, so join Parker and me. Join us tonight at 10 p.m. for Canucks After Dark right here on YouTube. Our last Wednesday show before we move back to Monday for the start of Season 2, starting on Monday, September 13th. So the last Wednesday show is tonight. Hope you can join us. Okay, a couple of things about this. Actually, as I release this, I'm also recorded with John of Hot Take Hockey on a video of a similar topic. It was kind of actually ironic that he asked me to be on his show to talk about this, and this is something I was planning to talk about today. Anyway, so whether you're watching me here, which you are now, or you're going to watch me with Hot Take Hockey, you're going to get the similar type of conversation because it's a very important topic. Our two best players still not signed to contracts for this upcoming season. And going forward, of course. But as I said, we're going to talk about this at least once a week going up to training camp. And here's our weekly check-in on the subject. So we know training camp starts on Thursday, September the 23rd, basically 2 weeks from tomorrow. So being 2 weeks out, both Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson do not have contracts just yet. I've always said, let's not panic. Horvat was signed on September 8th a few years ago. Besser was signed on September 16th, Jacob's birthday a few years ago. So it's not uncommon that the Canucks go this long with their star players. Having said that, yesterday we got two interesting updates. One from Elliotte Friedman and one from Patrick Johnson of the province. Now, I talked about this on Monday, Labor Day routine, coming back out of Labor Day. So you can tell things were firing back up again yesterday. Donnie and Dolly were back on the air. Sakaris and Price have been back for a couple of days. Halford and Brock were back. So all the big guns when it comes to local Vancouver media were back at it. And therefore, there's going to be a lot more talk about the Vancouver Canucks, which is exciting. So Elliotte Friedman and Patrick Johnson. Patrick Johnson on Twitter said that he's hearing that that Quinn Hughes might be after an $8 million contract, and he hinted at some comparables, which I'll get to in a second. And then Elliotte Friedman also hinted that the Quinn Hughes one might be long-term, whereas the PD one might be short. So let's talk about the short-term versus long-term, and then let's get into the actual dollar amounts. Back before the Canucks made all their moves of buying out Virtanen and Holtby, trading away some salary, although they took some salary back, trading Nate Schmidt's $6 million salary. Before the Canucks did all that, I think I was on record as saying I think it's going to be short-term deals for both PD and Hughes. Then after the Canucks cleared a bunch of money, and the notion is if you sign a guy short-term, 2 or 3 years, usually the average annual value of the contract per year is going to be less than if you sign a 6, 7, 8 year deal. When in essence you're buying unrestricted free agency years, you're getting the player to commit more. So that's why the average annual value of the contract would be higher for a long-term contract. So that's why when the Canucks didn't seem to have a lot of money, I thought it would be short-term deals for both PD and Hughes. Then they clear a lot of cap space, and they're, depending on how you read cap friendly, but I've always said this, once you do the math and take out a couple players with Michael Furlan's LTIR, the Canucks have about $16 million, not the 12.6 that cap, or the 10 that cap friendly says. By the time you do all it, it's about $16 million remaining. So then you can say, okay, well, we can't go long-term with both of them, especially if PD's going to want 8 or 9 or more long-term. Hughes is going to want 7 or 8, which I'll get to in a sec, long-term. So then you're thinking, okay, $16 million means we could probably go short for one of them and long for the other. So that's why what Patrick Johnson said makes sense. $8 million for Hughes, because that would seem to indicate a 7 or 8 year deal. What Elliotte Friedman says makes sense, that they want to potentially go long with Hughes and go short with PD. So let's talk about Quinn Hughes first. Because of his unique contract status, he can't be offer sheeted, so there's no threat. So really, he doesn't have a lot of leverage. The only leverage he has, the only play he has, is holding out. Now, that's a kind of a dirty word, or dirty two words when it comes to hockey contract negotiations. But we've seen it a lot with RFAs for sure, either signing just before camp or even missing a couple days of camp. You just don't want it to go into preseason games and certainly not into the regular season. So I'm not worried about that, but I'm not surprised that this is taking so long because these are complicated discussions. Now, I've always talked about Hughes being lumped in with Dahlin, Heiskanen, and Makar. Well, Heiskanen and Makar signed new deals last month. Heiskanen is getting 8 years, I think it is, at 8.45, so $67 million contract. So 8.45 for 8 years, whereas Makar is getting 6 years at $9 million for $54 million. So you have Heiskanen long-term at 8.45, Makar at $9 million. I don't think Hughes is a $9 million player, especially given how Makar, although they were both neck and neck for the Calder 2 seasons ago, I think Makar took a bigger step forward than Hughes did last season, and we've talked about that a lot before. I think a Heiskanen is a more comparable player and more comparable contract. Heiskanen is probably better all around. Hughes is more offensive upside, but I think Heiskanen obviously a better defensive player. So that's probably a more accurate comparable. There's Thomas Chabot with $8 million contract as well. And I'm not going to worry about Nurse and Jones and those guys. Those guys are a little bit more experienced. Hamilton as well. So if you're looking at Quinn Hughes, I think if Patrick Johnson, and why would he not be telling the truth? If he's signaling an $8 million contract for Hughes, to me that's saying 8 years. So maybe for the simplicity's sake, we say he's 8 years at $8 million. So let's say that. So that's my prediction as of September 8th. Ask me tomorrow or the day after, and it might change a little bit. So I'm going Hughes at $8 million for 8 years, which is way more in terms of money and term. Of course, the money goes up because of the term than I would have predicted about a month ago. PD is more interesting. I think you can't go long term. If you go long term with him, I think he wants 8.5, 9, maybe even 9.5 long term. So there's certainly not the money to go long term with him. And so maybe PD takes the shorter bridge deal. A bit more risk with PD. He can be offer sheeted, although I'm pretty confident, or maybe I'm more hopeful than confident that that's not going to happen. And you see Kotkaniemi at 6.1. That's like the bare minimum as the floor. Then you look at Matthew Barzal. We talked about 3 years at $7 million. Braden Point's second contract was 3 years at $6.75 million. Then I heard comparables too about Brady Tkachuk and Kaprizov, the rookie of the year from Minnesota. Kaprizov might get $9 or $10 million a year, but on I heard Friedman say that he might get $9 or $10 million a year. Different type of player than PD. PD is probably worth 9 to 10 long term. Short term though, bridge, I don't think you can go like that. And Tkachuk's to me not the best comparable right now. So I think we should really only be worried about comparables for short term, a 3-year deal. Remember, 4 years bad for Hughes 4 years is bad for PD, gets him to unrestricted free agency, and 5 years for Hughes is bad. So anything shorter or longer than 5 is preferable for Hughes. But for PD, even if you go 3 years, even 2 years, but if you go 3 years at, even if you go 3 years at 7.5 or 7.75, then you come in under your 16 million, barely, but you do. So you go Hughes for 8 and then PD for 7.75. Of course, the difference is Hughes would be over 8 years, whereas PD would be only 3 years, and then he can have a chance to really hit a home run with his next contract. John and I on his channel talked about what about a 1 or 2 year deal for PD. I guess it's possible, but I'm not sure if that's the best play right now. So let's say if I had to provide a guess right now, I'd say PD 3 years, 7.75 to 7.75, and then Hughes 8 years at 8. And there gets you both guys signed for under $16 million. So that's my updated predictions based on what Elliot Friedman and Patrick Johnson were talking about yesterday. By the way, if you made it this far, thank you. Leave a comment below on your predictions for these contracts. Let me know how worried you are right now. And also, if you made it this far, I want you to know that you'll probably notice a different looking thumbnail, a much better looking thumbnail. Gonna work out a way with my new friend Stefan, who's gonna help do some of my thumbnails for me. But you'll see. I think you'll notice if you clicked on this video. I'm sure you noticed how much better it looks. So thanks to Stefan in advance, and I'm going to link to his channel, his Instagram page down below in the descriptions. We're going to figure out how that works. So Canucks fans, leave a comment below your new predictions and what's your level of worry right now. Shout out to my hero members, nucksfan number 29, Justin Credible, and Lucas Gates, and to my Hall of Fame members, Jens95, Sim Alexander, Chris Seifert, Adam Broomfield, Shannon Hollingworth, and Andrew Chang. Thanks for all of your support, and thanks to the support of all members of all levels. You are listed in my video descriptions. If you want to become a member of the CCC Crew, press the join button underneath this or in my videos, or the memberships tab on my YouTube channel. Subscribe if you like to, like this video if you like to, leave a comment if you like to, become a member of this channel if you like to. See you tonight, 10 p.m. for Canucks After Dark. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. Have a great day. God bless, and go Canucks go.